Hello and welcome back for the third lesson in our studio growth workshop entitled the Gatekeeper Framework. Now, this is going to help you turn more quotes into bookings and remove that feeling of desperation, like you're constantly trying to pull in clients and convince them to work with you, and instead flip that around to have them desperate to work with you. Now, we've covered a lot already in this series, and I'm excited to see all the positivity, the engagement, and most importantly, the action taking from you. Thinking back to the first lesson, I highlighted the opportunity that you have to actually get paid for your audio skills, even if you're just a beginner, and where that opportunity can lead, like to a solid side income that pays for your passion, or even a full-time business that gets you out of your day job. Now, the comments and shares have been great so far. Anthony and Danny and Mick all agreed that strategy 1 was a great way to approach potential clients without having too much pressure on it. And then Zachary, Steven, and a few others really liked the demo pitch idea for approaching bigger bands. But the first step to any new success or growth is belief. So step back for a moment. What do you really want? What's your dream? There's no right or wrong here. Just let your desires come to the surface now. Now, what would your life look like if recording and mixing isn't just an expensive hobby, but something that actually puts some cash into your pocket and pays for itself? Something you can get fulfillment out of while also adding a nice side income. Or maybe you've got some more ambitious desires like I did, wanting to be a full-time producer, working in the studio every day, and being able to leave a soul-sucking day job. How would it feel to wake up knowing that your job for today, and the next, is just to make great sounding records? I'm not going to sell you a lie here and tell you that it's easy or it's fast. We all have different definitions of those words anyways. It took me a couple years to go from beginner to part-time, and then another year or so to go full-time. It may take you more or less time depending on your situation. The real problem though is that most people just don't start at all because of fear, or they quit too early because they can't persevere. Now, if you can beat those two roadblocks, then you'll be way ahead of almost everyone else in the game. And it all starts with taking ownership and taking responsibility for creating the results you want in your life. And once you've taken ownership, then you simply need to take the action necessary to get there. What I'm about to share in this lesson is an extremely powerful, advanced strategy I call the Gatekeeper Framework. Now, this framework will turn you from constantly pursuing clients to actually being pursued. It flips the whole game around so that people are desperate to work with you instead of you desperately trying to pull them in. Now, here's how most of us see things when we start out. We assume that we're just nobodies, that we need someone else out there to just give us a shot to prove ourselves. And there's not really a way around this. It's okay. When we start out, we need to take the first action to make people aware of what we're offering. We need to put our work out there so people can hear it, and we often need to reach out, make offers, and approach potential clients with our services. That's fine, and it's necessary to get started. And in that stage, you're operating within the framework that you actually need to convince a band or convince an artist that you're worth working with. That could mean starting with really low prices or test mixes, doing discounted or free work to build their portfolio and your reputation and word of mouth. But once that machine of word of mouth and repeat clients starts building, this perspective and this frame is actually detrimental. And if you continue to see yourself as the one in need, the one who has got to desperately try and reach out to pull people in and convince them to work with you, you're creating a harder game for yourself. And people pick up on this. We've all run into the desperate salesperson before. It's a turnoff, right? When we sense desperation, we turn and we run the other way. It's human nature. So if you're seeing everything through this desperation frame, even unconsciously, it's going to affect how many projects you land and how much you can get paid. Now, here's how to know if you're in the desperation frame. You say yes to every single project that comes your way, even if it's not the right fit for you. You're afraid to raise your rates. Bands constantly expect lower rates and bargain with you, and you basically never charge your original price. And you don't have clients coming to you automatically. You always have to reach out and offer some sort of deal or discount to get people in. I used to operate from within this desperation frame all the time. Someone would fill out the contact form on my website and I'd respond with something like this. Hey, I'd love to work with you. Thanks so much for your message. My rate is $300 per song, but if budget is a problem for you, please let me know and we can work something out. When do you want to do the project? So right off the bat, I'm setting myself up for pain. Before even hearing their response, I prove to them that I don't think I'm worth my normal rate. I show them that I'm desperate for them not to go away based on price. I also show that my time is not very valuable by just asking them when they want to come in. Now, this type of communication pushes serious bands away. They sense the desperation and the lack of confidence. And the ones that do engage and respond will end up being flaky on their time and talk you down to the lowest possible rate. And it's not their fault. You're training them to do it when you communicate like this. Now contrast that with my typical response a few years later. Thanks for your message. I listened to the demo, and based on that, I think we could make a great record together. My rate is $1,000 per song to record and mix, plus taxes. I don't do mastering, but will arrange it with my go-to mastering engineer who charges $100 per song. My next opening is March 3rd, and we'll need about 10 days to do 5 songs. If that all sounds good to you, let me know and I'll send over the confirmation form and we can lock it in with a 15% deposit. There are a few important things to notice here. First of all, on my website, I require that the band submit either a demo of the material they want to record or a link to previous releases. I state clearly on the front end that I will not work with you if you can't provide one of these. So therefore, before we even communicate, the script is flipped. They have to prove themselves to me, not the other way around. I'm already beginning to set myself up as the gatekeeper, and I'm protecting the prize, me. And it's not just a mind game here. I actually listen to the band and decide whether or not I will work with them. Now, the standard changed throughout the years as I grew, but usually came down to the songwriting level and whether I can tell they understand professional production. So if they send me a horribly out-of-tune demo with immature lyrics and drums that are clearly not anywhere close to a click track, I'm going to pass on the project, which, by the way, makes them all the more hungry to get better and qualify next time. So that's why the email starts by saying that based on listening to their demo, we can work together. Now the next step is clearly stating my rate, which is at a premium in the local scene. I was charging more than other local studios. I then set the frame even stronger by stating what I won't do, mastering, and dictating how that process will work. I show that my time is in demand and valuable by stating my next availability and how much time I'll give them. Finally, I wrap it up with a clear call to action. Do you want to book now? Here's the next step. Not something soft like, let me know how that sounds, or we can discuss budget further. Everything is courteous but clear and coming from a place of confidence. Now maybe it should go without saying, but I'm not trying to manipulate or bully a band into booking here. Not at all. If I think it's a great fit and it turns out they can't afford it, in some cases I'll work something out. But generally, with this type of frame set, bands don't even try to negotiate. Most of the time, if they can't afford it, they'll just say something like, sorry, it's too far out of our range, but we'll be aiming to get there for our next project. Now, the power of the Gatekeeper framework is that it instantly swaps the usual positions of who is pursuing and who is being pursued. It makes bands qualify themselves to you instead of you convincing the band. It puts you in control of your rate and your time. Of course, you then need to go and deliver a recording or a mix that lives up to the price and the expectations and give them a great experience with you. And if you do, they're going to spread the word, but they'll be spreading it within your frame. You don't want bands telling other bands, hey, he gave us a great deal, just ask, or yeah, he'll fit you in anywhere, or something like that. Isn't it much better for a band to say, yeah, we had to book time off work to fit in his schedule and pay extra to get in, but it was so worth it. It's pretty easy to see how powerful this is. It leads to more bookings, better quality of client, better quality of word of mouth, and the ability to charge higher rates. And it's not just a salesy tactic, and you don't have to be uncomfortable taking this type of stand. It's based in reality. Because if you have recording and mixing gear and some experience doing it, then there are people out there who want and need your services. Now they need a recording so they can get their band out there, or they need a way better recording so that they can get noticed in the industry and book shows. Now if you can deliver that, then in fact you are the one who is holding the value. You can serve them and they will benefit from it. And that's how business works. So you might be in the position right now where this seems way out of reach and you're just looking to get your first project in the door. And that's totally fine. We all start there. But this is a lesson you should not forget. And once the projects start lining up a little more and your calendar is getting more full, find ways to start shifting into this gatekeeper frame, whether it's with your price, your availability, or simply asking for a demo before booking. The sooner you start to do this, the better. By the way, this is just the beginning. The Gatekeeper frame only gets stronger throughout the whole process. After they book, I send my requirements and preparation outlines. I tell them which gear to bring and whether they need to go rent more equipment. It's all about staying confident and in control, not for your own selfish gain, but for the good of the band. That's how you deliver a top-notch experience that they'll come back for and talk about, and it's how you deliver a great final product. Speaking of this being just the beginning, this video is the final lesson in the Studio Growth Workshop. Now, if you want more of these strategies, frameworks, and resources, this is what we deliver every week inside my monthly membership platform called Control Room. Now, in a few days, I'm going to open up enrollment for Control Room for 2019. And by joining Control Room, you'll be getting access to all the knowledge, strategies, and resources you need to start or continue growing your business and career in the studio. We're also going to be kicking off a 90-day challenge inside Control Room called the Expansion Journey, designed to help you continue on this path and get massive results over the next 3 months. Now, since the whole community is going to be going through this challenge together, we need to shut the doors on Saturday at midnight so that we can kick off the program on Monday. So with this format, we're only going to open up enrollment to Control Room once or twice per year. So look out for my next email because you'll be waiting a while if you miss this opportunity. Now, I'll be releasing all the details on Control Room on Thursday, but in the meantime, comment below with your biggest takeaway from this series. Is it an aspect of the Gatekeeper framework that you're going to start implementing? Something else from earlier videos? Let me know in the comments, and make sure to catch up on all these videos before they get taken down on Thursday. After going through all 3 of these lessons, you're going to be very well armed to take your studio business to the next level this year, and I can't wait to help you continue on that journey inside Control Room. All right, we'll talk soon.